Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to Fantasy Premier League Game Week 14. It's team news time, and as ever, I'm joined by Neale, Fantasy Football Scout's editor. My name is Joe, and here's Neale. Neale, how are you?
All right, Joe. Yeah, it's been a while, I think, since I did one of these. I had cover in last week, didn't I? And then it was international break before that. So, yeah, ready to go. We've heard from, I think, 19 of the 20 managers. De Zerbi is the outstanding candidate. But we do have some information on Brighton, so we'll bring you up to speed on that.
Yeah, we had some information earlier in the week about some long-term injuries there. And obviously last night's fantastic victory, which sealed Europa League next round for Brighton against Athens. So another theft for a Greek side there. Just before we go on, just wanted to mention that there's a membership deal going on at Fantasy Football Scout. You can get a 7-day free trial of Fantasy Football Scout Premium there, and also 20% offer as well. So go and have a look at there. We've got the email address at the bottom of the screen there, fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Go and have a look over there and have a look at those deals. I think Praz was having a chat about this deal last night, and he was suggesting people trigger their 7-day free trial on a Saturday, so they can get all the latest stats from the Saturday. So he thinks that's a good time to do it, and it'll entice people to get membership from there.
That's classic Praz, isn't it? Having a strategy even for membership.
Yeah, he was doing the helicopter view on when to get free membership for that. He's possibly got a helicopter view on Amazon Prime as well, which is showing the midweek games as well. So he's probably got a plan afoot there. Welcome to Esbam, Jammer, Rodrev, Sokan, Eric, Robert, Vagabond, Dennis, Paul, and many more who've joined us early on. Thanks a lot for joining us. I hope we give you the team news you want, or at least to help your decisions. Let's start with Arsenal against Wolves. I'll go with the home side first. Obviously, Lens against Arsenal didn't get the memo about doubling up on Saka and Martinelli and shipped 6 goals as a result. Wolves probably won't be as naive, but let's go with Arsenal first. What is the latest from Mikel Arteta?
But once there's a very low-key Mikel Arteta press conference, because usually we're waiting on a flag of Saka or Ben White or Gabriel News or something like that. So nothing really much to report. He said there was nothing new that he was aware of, and nobody was expected back. So Vieira is still suspended and injured, I think, as well. Partey, Timber, Smith Rowe, they're all out as well. David Raya is the one inclusion from last week because he was ineligible to face Brentford. Of course, he's on loan from, but he's now available again. Okay. Apart from that, nothing much to report.
Okay, and with Wolves as well, Aït-Nouri. I was a bit of a transfer target of mine. I didn't get him in, but he's injured, I understand.
He is, yeah. He was on the watch list as well at Scout, so we'll be removing him. It's not a long-term one, which is good. He'll not feature this weekend, but O'Neil was hopeful that he'll be back within the week. So that could be game week 15. It could be game week 16 because there's 2 more game weeks within the next 7 days. He's out. Neto's out as well. Still, he's nearly back. He's running again on the grass, so he's not long before he'll be in action again. Lamina and Gomez are suspended. They reached 5 yellow cards on Monday night, so that's 2 central midfielders down. Okay. Hodge is still injured. Fraser's probably too close for him as well. He'll feature on for the under-21s next week. Dawson is the one player they've got back. He was banned against Fulham, but he's now free of suspension. Okay, right, yeah. Let's move on to Brentford against Luton.
Depending on news we're going to have shortly about Jared Bowen, I may or may not own Mbomo for, I think, the first time in my fantasy football career. I've never owned the chap before.
Really?
No, I don't think I ever have. I've always gone for Ivan Toney previously, but obviously no Ivan Toney this time around. Yeah. And but yeah, maybe. But that's West Ham a bit later. Brentford, what's the latest there?
Yeah, it'll be my first time on him this season, I can tell you that. I ruined that mistake of not getting him in at the start of the season, but hey ho, I'm going to rectify that this weekend. Nothing on him from Thomas Frank, so no worry there. They will get Mads Roslev back. He missed out last weekend with a small issue. They won't get Matthias Jensen back, who I think Thomas Frank thought would be available for this one. He won't be. Got an adductor problem. Still out are Aaron Hickey, Kevin Schade, Rico Henry, and Ivan Toney long term. Nathan Collins is also out as well. A few weeks, I think, was the prognosis on him last week. Damsgaard played for the under 21s or the Behind Closed Doors friendly on Tuesday, so he's touch and go this weekend, just match fitness with him. Josh De Silva's not too far behind him, but yeah, still quite a few flags there at Brentford.
Right, yeah. And as for Luton, Bore is still knocking around on some people's benches, but he was off. He was out with concussion recently, but is he going to be back?
Yeah, he was knocked out. Never mind knocking around. He was floored. I don't know if you saw the footage, but it was a nasty blow to the head while he was away on international duty. He is back. He missed last weekend with concussion because of the protocol, but he's available here. And Nakamba's still a doubt. I think he's got a swollen knee. Lokonga and Potter back in training, but Rob Edwards is saying it's probably too close for them. And then after that, you've got Anderson, Burke, and Woodrow out as well.
Okay. Former fantasy football scout owner Mark Southerns would refer to this next game as a garden centre clash. Burnley against Sheffield United. If you've got anything, any seeds to get, any plants to buy, go and do that during this match because it could be boring. Burnley, how are they set up for this?
Yeah, it's going to be an all Championship garden centre class next season, I think, by the looks of it. So yeah, Burnley. No Lyle Foster news as far as I could tell. He's been seeking treatment for his mental health, and we obviously don't think he's available anytime soon. Jack Cork's still out, and Muric is struggling with an infection. Apart from that, I think Burnley are injury free. Benson is injury free, but he's I think match fitness with him. He's been playing for the under-21s. And apart from that, I think that's all we're aware of. But company is a bit of a Steve Cooper in holding information back.
Okay, but who cares what he gets to say? Because I was going to invest in them anyway. Sheffield United's Archer's on my bench. I assume he's fine, ready to come on if needed for his 2 points. What else is happening at Sheffield United for this clash?
Well, Foderingham was ill earlier this week, but he's since returned to training. So I think it's pretty much as you were. So the longer term ones: Basham, Brewster, Tom Davies, John Egan, Jefferson, and Norrington Davies. They've been out for some time. They're still out. Norrington Davies is back on the grass, but still some distance away.
Okay. Arguably another garden centre clash, Nottingham Forest against Everton. Let's go with Cooper's side first. Obviously notorious for not being as forthcoming as we'd like him to be, but what is the latest nevertheless from him?
Yeah, well, there's an example here when he's talking about Sangare, who missed out in Gameweek 13 with an illness. Quite a nasty one by the sounds of it. Now, Cooper says he has just joined in training, albeit not in full training. He's out on the grass. So I would fully expect to see him in the start lineup this weekend. Felipe has been out for a long time. He's got knee irritation and he hasn't featured, I think, since September. And then, of course, Awani is out for 3 months, we believe, with groin issues. I think he's had surgery on that. So apart from that, though, Forest are in pretty rude health as far as we're aware.
Righty-o. And for Everton, usual question, Calvert-Lewin, is he in or out or a doubt?
Yeah, he's had a little run there where he was injury-free, but it's caught up with him. It's muscle tightness, so not a proper injury just yet. Dice was saying they're going to be taking a bit of caution there. Going to be careful with him and make a decision in the next couple of days. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't risk him, what with 2 more game weeks coming up, hot on the heels of this one. Beto, who was his possible replacement, he's back in training. He missed out last weekend with a knee issue. He's now, sounds like he's going to be available. Anana, unlikely to feature with this recurring calf issue. And of course, Dele Alli and Andre Gomez are longer term ones as well. Okay, before we look at Newcastle, Manchester United, welcome some more people joining us in the live chat. A few hundred of you there. Do press that like button and do remember to subscribe as well so you can keep up to date with all our latest videos and podcasts. Z Austin, or Austin, as he's more normally known, from the Fantasy Football Scout comments board, has made an appearance in the live chat. Welcome. And we've got Chef Cardo from Kenya. We've got El Franco, hello from Ghana. So good. We're getting those, getting a lot of representation from African nations joining us, which is great to see. And Austin says, just a greeting here, no questions. Well done. He is and given us a gift as well, which is very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Your side, back in form. Newcastle against Manchester United, still questionably in form. Still winning or drawing occasionally, but still not looking great. But Newcastle, they're the team we're all interested in at the moment. What's the latest there? Yeah, Eddie Howe was fresh up this morning, very early on. They'll get Lewis Hall back for this one. He was a lower knee, so couldn't play against Chelsea last weekend. Apart from that, it looks like the good news ends there. So we will still be without, I think, 11 players for this one. Howe did leave the door slightly ajar. He said, "I'm not expecting anyone back presently as I sit here talking to you now," so it didn't completely rule out prospect. But we think they'll still be without Barnes, Murphy, Anderson,
Okay.
Target, Byrne, Tonali, Manquillo, Willock, Wilson, Longstaff, and Botman.
Right.
There was an update on Botman, who I think they're trying to avoid surgery on him. He's not training with the team at the moment, so obviously not going to see him this weekend. He's building up slowly. They're building the load in his knee,
Okay.
and then hoping that sticks and he doesn't need knee surgery. But sounds like he's still a little way off.
Okay.
It's the same with Harvey Barnes, so that's good news for Gordon owners. He still hasn't trained with the team yet. Willock and Longstaff, I think, it sounds slightly shorter term, but not in time for game week 14. Sorry.
Okay.
So pretty much the same group of players that went on Tuesday night in Paris.
Okay, so those who've got Lascelles, for example, on their bench or fielding every now and again, and they'll definitely want him for game week 18. It looks like that, as far as we know now, Lascelles could be okay for game week 18 if Botman is still out. But as I said, it sounds like he's sort of stepping up his program to coming back. So could be touch and go by
You
then.
don't know,
So,
yeah, it could be close for that.
yeah,
for that one.
so a situation to monitor. You should be okay for the next 2 or 3 game weeks at least, though.
Yeah.
Manchester United, they've got quite a long injury list as well. But any changes?
Mount could be back. He's back in training. He's missed the last 2 in League and Cup. But Ten Hag said he couldn't say for sure whether how long it'll take for a plane comeback. Højlund and Anthony, they go back in midweek for that game against Galatasaray, so they're fine. And then you've still got the longer term one. So Sancho is more disciplinary, but the rest are injuries. Evans, Diallo, Malacia, who's had a setback, Casemiro, Ericsson, and Alessandro Martinez. I don't think it sounds like you're going to be seeing them anytime soon.
Okay, a few more people joining us from around the world as well. Big Phil from Cambodia. I was there many years ago. What a wonderful country that is. And also Sukan is reminding us he's from Finland. And Pudge, howdy from Texas. Let's move on to... Hi from Bournemouth and Villa. Let's go with the away side first. Ollie Watkins, that's the news we all want. He was out of the European clash. It was a small pain he had experienced, but I'm an owner. Many people also are owners. Will he be available this Sunday?
Well, I might more concerned this afternoon than I was 24 hours ago, because that screamed to me like it was a precautionary omission and he was just being rested for Bournemouth. However, now these are quotes that have been transcribed on the Villa website in the last half an hour or 45 minutes. So I haven't actually seen the presser yet. I'll see if they're accurate. But this is what the Villa site says. Emery said, "He's going to be a doubt for Sunday. He's not completely unavailable. We're going to wait for tomorrow and see if we can take a risk with him or not. We'll see how he feels about facing the demands in 90 minutes that we're going to face on Sunday." So
doesn't sound...
It doesn't sound great, does it?
No.
Especially when they've got two big games coming up beyond this as well. So I'll try and get the hold of the presser in full and see if those quotes are accurate and see what the jump the wave Villa experts are thinking. I know they were half predicting a benching for cash this weekend, so Watkins can miss out as well, possibly.
It sounds like Watkins, obviously, we'd want him in game week 18. It doesn't sound like he's, I said, not completely unavailable, so he could play.
No.
But it doesn't sound great, and the fixtures aren't as good as Newcastle's and Liverpool's. So a decision for myself, and I think many others, will be swapping Watkins out for another striker, particularly Darwin Núñez or Isak at Newcastle. They could be options there. So that's a decision. I'll be doing the deadline stream tomorrow. So you better see what the conclusion to that decision I come to and see if we can help anyone else out there with that similar move there. Okay, as for Bournemouth, though, what shape are they in for Villa's visit?
They've lost one body from last week, so that's Kelly, who's been playing at left back. He is out of this one. They're not sure of a time frame yet for him, but it's a hamstring strain, so probably you'd think out of the next 3 game weeks, given the tight turnaround. And Iraola said they were not expecting anyone back, so Aarons, Adams, Scott and Fredericks, I think, are all out. Marcondes, who's been out all season with foot surgery, he played in a friendly in midweek, but probably some distance from match sharpness.
Okay, righty-o. Let's move on to Chelsea against Brighton. Now, Brighton are one of the only team we haven't actually heard from today, but we do have some news like during the week as well. Let's go with Chelsea first then, because this is the giving Brighton lots of money derby, which Chelsea obviously give us more money if you want. Okay, what's the latest from Chelsea?
There may be a sight of Nkunku this weekend, and I'll say may because Pochettino doesn't sound completely convinced himself, but he is the closest of that injured contingent to return.
Okay.
So he has been in training today. He's been in full team training, and Poch said this afternoon that they're going to assess him tomorrow and then decide. Said he's close. Lavia's not far behind him, but Pochettino said it'll be more difficult for him. So probably further game weeks down the line for him. But Nkunku is imminent. James and Cucurella are suspended because of what they did last weekend at Newcastle, and they're still without the injured Chilwell, Fofana, Chalobah, and Chukwuemeka. We think Gusto as well is still injured. He wasn't seen in midweek photos on the training ground, and Chelsea also put out a weekly bulletin on their site. So it wasn't mentioned by Poch, but on their site it said he was undergoing a rehabilitation program. To me, sounds like he's injured.
Okay.
So it could be 4 centre-halves across the back line this weekend because they haven't got any full-backs left.
Okay. Now, we know from Brighton earlier in the week that Fatty has got a long-term injury. He's going to be out for a number of months, we think. Lamptey as well. He's got a longer-term injury, but could be back in weeks. But he obviously came back from fitness and then got injured again. But that was the latest that we had. But they obviously played last night. Some of the likes of Ferguson, Pedro, etc. Mitoma was back as well. But is there any other latest that we've got on the injury front for Brighton?
Not that I've seen. They weren't part of the list on Sky Sports earlier today in terms of pressers.
Okay.
Athletic did mention that De Zerbi was going to do something today, but I don't know if that was just embargoed comments. I'll just add to what you said there, Joe. They have got 2 suspensions. One of them we knew about was Dahoud. The other one's Dunk, who was sent off. It was a straight red card last weekend, so that's 2 matches he'll be out. Because it was, I think, foul and abusive language was the official reason. So 2 matches out for him. And then we think Enciso, Estupinan, March, Webster, Welbeck still out on top of Fatty and Lamptey.
Yeah. Have a look on Fantasy Football Scout's tweets there as well, but also have a look at my old employers Brighton Evening Argus. They're usually on that as well. Also, Andy Naylor used to be at the Argus. He's now at the Athletic. He's also on top of these things as well. I think it's called Brian Owens, the guy at the Argus, now doing it. Well, been doing it for several years. Do follow the Argus and the Athletic, and also look at Fantasy Football Scout. We'll be getting all the latest there. Move on to Liverpool against Fulham. They've quite a few rested midweek. Darwin Núñez, for example, got a rest, and there was also I noticed that Salah came off in something like the 59th minute as well. That would indicate they're all going to start against Fulham. But what else have we got any latest from Liverpool?
Not a huge amount because this was filmed last night and then released from embargo today. But again, a bit like Brighton, Klopp had told us everything that we needed to know previously. So it concerns Alisson and Diogo Jota. I think they both suffered muscular injuries against Man City. Alisson's is less serious. He said earlier this week that it won't be Sunday and probably not the week after. So that might rule out game weeks 15 and 16. But then it should be kind of okay. So potentially game week 17 return for Alisson. He says with Jota, it's going to take a little bit longer. So good news there for Diaz. Good news for Darwin, hopefully. Of course, it's still a 4-3 up top. Probably 3-2 because Salah's rarely benched. Yeah. There was actually, if anyone's interested, there was a few more quotes from Klopp, not on injuries per se, but on rotation with the busy period coming up. He first confirmed Keller is going to start, of course, in Alisson's stead. And then there's a lengthy 3-paragraph response to a question about Gakpo versus Darwin as to who's going to start tomorrow, whether he's got a headache. I refer you to the article on the site for that because it is you need to read it in its entirety. And then we was talking about wider rotation as well. Again, another 2 paragraphs on that. He did say, I'm not sure we can rotate all the time. It depends who's available. And then, just going to take it game by game. The good thing is, as I mentioned earlier in the week in a different article, previously Liverpool have been playing Champions League up to this point and have been going full strength. So, and it's December when Klopp's traditionally rotated. We've seen before against Burnley and Everton where he's rested Salah.
Yeah.
The good thing is that in the Europa League, he's been resting those big guns up to this point. So we may still see benchings for the likes of Simicast at some point. Maybe one of the next three he sits out. Same with Matip, Maley, and Darwin probably as well. I think probably start two of the next three. But I would possibly think it's the Sheffield United game, which is next Wednesday, I think, is it? That is the alarm bells, I think, for me in terms of possible rest.
Okay, rightio. And just to confirm as well, Kelleher will be deputising for Alisson there. That's confirmed there. Because isn't Adrian still on the books? Adrian's on the Adrian.
I believe he is. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But Kelleher played last night, and he's been the goalkeeper. And Klopp said it this afternoon. He's going to be number one. So.
Yeah. And how do we pronounce his first name? Kevin, is it?
Queef, I think. That's what Klopp calls him, and who might argue against that?
Okay, brilliant. Fulham as well. Palhinha is often needed in the Fulham midfield to shore up the defence. Is he back?
He is. Yeah, he was suspended on Monday, but he's back. And it's as you were in terms of injuries. So still 4 out. Adama Traore, Issa Diop, Rodrigo Muniz, and Tyrese Francois, who I must admit I'm not fully aware of who he is, but they're all out.
Rightio. This is another big news here. West Ham against Palace as well. I'm a Jared Bowen owner, and many other people are. He was hugely brought in by hundreds of thousands of FPL managers. I only see him miss out last week. Will he be back? Has David Moyes been full of illuminating chat about Jared Bowen?
He's been full of chat, but there's nothing illuminating about it at all.
Full of something.
Yeah. I'll not say what, but all. And to be fair to Moyes, he is just back from Serbia. He hasn't had a chance to see the players train yet. So Bowen didn't fly to Serbia on Thursday. He missed out last weekend, of course, with his fluid on the knee. What he said this afternoon, Moyes, was that he's one of the ones we'll see on. I'm going to pick up with the medical team on him and see what they feel, and we'll take a look at him this afternoon.
Okay.
Early in the week, I think the Standard were saying that West Ham were confident or hopeful that he'll be available, but again, nothing concrete this afternoon. There was also 3 absentees last night, and they're all linked, I think, to viruses or flu-like symptoms. Okay. So that was Kudus, Kufal, and Alvarez.
Okay.
None of those made the flight either, and Moyes is sort of hinting that they were all ill. So flu doubts, a few doubts flying around there at West Ham.
Okay, that's on Sunday though, so perhaps if they are sort of minor illness, they might be okay. You would imagine. Also, there's no confirmation it is those 3 players that are ill.
No, not officially.
Left at home. I mean, with Bowen, I mean that sounds with Moyes. I mean, he's such a key player. We heard that there was a kind of fluid on the knee or something, and they could be out for a while. And then we weren't sure. And to me, I don't like this at all.
No,
games come out thick and fast. For me, he's a sell. He may well play. That's not saying he won't play. But for me, it's too many question marks over a player when there's so many other midfielders I want to get.
I'm starting to come around that way, I think, as well, Joe. Originally, I had, Eze I've got to get rid of as well this week. It'll be probably Eze and another midfielder was going to be Martinelli. But I think the thing is with Bowen is even if he does start, if he has got fluid on the knee, you're worried about a recurrence at some point. And especially with busy schedule, it's a tight turnaround. Is he going to last 90 minutes? He's even going to be able to string together 3 starts in 7 days, which he would have if he didn't have this. So I am. He's possibly on the chopping block for me as well. Yeah,
I mean, weirdly, I'm not a sportsman, as you well know, but I have actually had that as well. That fluid on the knee, which is basically you get some trauma to the knee, and your body just goes, whoa, let's get some fluid there and help it out. But it's really painful. I just bashed it on a corner of a door, and it was really painful. I couldn't walk properly for about a week. It was really annoying. And I'm not a professional athlete, so there we go.
You could have fooled me.
I know. I seem like it, but I'm not. So for him, I would say looking very doubtful. But you never know. Crystal Palace, Eze, he's still out, isn't he?
Yes, it sounds very much like he is. They're seeing surgeons and specialists this week. He's already seen one. He's seen another one today. His foot is still in the boot, so that doesn't sound like he's going to feature this weekend, does it? So I think speculation was that it'll be around about 4 weeks. That was what the media were reporting. That hasn't been confirmed by Palace yet, so just be aware of that. Something Hodgson has confirmed is the seriousness of the injury to Decore. Now he's going to be out for possibly the rest of the season. Hodgson's retaining a bit of hope that he might come back for the end of it, but it's going to be around about 6 months. He snapped his Achilles tendon, so He is out. Holden's joined the injury list as well for a month. And of course, they've already got Raksaki, Henderson, and Nathan Ferguson out.
Yeah.
James Tompkin, who was about, I don't know, fourth or fifth choice centre half, he is back in one very, very slight bit of good news.
Okay, rightio there. So back to Palace to trying to defend. Whether they will successfully keep West Ham at bay, but back to being a defensive side, I would imagine there. Last fixture, and it's a goodie, Man City against Tottenham. Let's go with the home side first, because I know there's probably... Spurs are in disarray in terms of their team sheet because of injuries, but we'll go with Man City first. What's the latest?
Yeah, not a great deal. John Stones has been back in the squad in the last two matches in League and Cup, but he hasn't got on the pitch yet. He's been unused on both occasions. And Pep, all he said today was that he's much better and that he'll be with us on Sunday, but he didn't know if he's going to be able to start or not.
Okay, right, yeah.
So clear as mud there. Kovacic is back in training. Nunes not so. Pep says still weeks or days for him, so he's going to miss out as well. And of course, De Bruyne is the longer term absentee with the hamstring.
Right, yeah. And as for Spurs as well, I mean, I looked at their team sheet last time out, and I couldn't actually see any centre backs. I'm not sure they fielded any. It seemed to be all full backs and attackers. I thought Ozzy Ardiles was taking over again. But Spurs, what is the latest there as they face Haaland and Man City?
Well, it's not got any better because Bentancur has been added to the list. He's now out for probably 2 months with ankle damage. They've got Madison, Van der Ven, Solomon, Perisic, Sessegnon, Whiteman, Phillips all on injury list, I think, probably until the new year. Romero's still suspended. He's got one more match to go, I think. Pape Sarr's not going to recover for this one either. He had a bit of an issue last weekend, hasn't recovered. Richarlison's nearly back. He's going to start training tomorrow. So both him and Sarr, in the words of Postecoglou, are the next ones off the rank in terms of injuries, but not for game week 14. So almost as bad as Newcastle, really. The one player they have got back is Yves Bissouma, who is now free from suspension. Great.
At least someone defence-minded in there, which would be good. That's starting to make me veer towards Haaland as a captain. Although Salah is a great captain as well. I think I'm going to flip between the two, but I'll reveal all tomorrow on the deadline stream. Let's have a look at the team news roundup. So there's a few I've missed out, but I'll see if we get as many as we can. Fit to play Stones and Kovacic. Cabore's back for Luton, and Brentford have got Jensen back. Whether they will play or not is another matter. But questionable. Calvert-Lewin got some tightness. Watkins, small pain, but he's 50-50. And Nkunku could play. It could play some part, but obviously fitness might keep him out for this particular clash. Mount is back, but obviously questionable whether he'll actually start. His fitness concerns there for Manchester United. Bowen, knee problems still. Fluid on the knee. How bad? How much fluid is in there? We'll find out this Sunday. If there's quite a lot, then he won't play. Nakamba knee is could keep him out as well for Luton, which is bad news for their defensive midfield. Major doubt, Onana at Everton. He's sort of majored out with the injury for Everton there. Richarlison, I'll put him as a major doubt. He very, very unlikely he's going to return because he's returning to training soon. So, but they're not gonna field him, I would imagine, for this. But you never know. And out, Sarr, Bentancur, they're out for Spurs. James, Cucurella, they're both suspended. Gusto's got an injury. Decore, that's the Palace one, Achilles problem, and sticking with Palace. Eze's out. Lloyd Kelly, he makes an appearance here. He's out for Bournemouth, but that could be good for whoever plays in the Villa attack because I think Villa hammered them last time they played. No, I can't remember who it was, but I think I don't think Bournemouth defensively did very well without Kelly. There, Nori's out with ankle problems for Wolves. Meanwhile, at Liverpool, Alisson and Jota, they are confirmed as out. Nathan Collins is also out, and with Brighton, Lewis Dunk is unavailable because he's suspended. Dahoud is also unavailable. Fatty is injury, hamstring problems, and Lamptey muscle problems there. That's going to keep him out for some time. I think I've got most there.
Yeah, there was one name probably for me to nitpick, Joe, but Jensen's on the available list. He's actually injured. He's not going to be.
Oh, is he? Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Sorry?
must have misread that there. So he won't play. I think, was he sort of nearing a return or something like that?
It's a minor thing, yeah. Roersleev's back. He's the one who's doing pass
Okay,
fit.
right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, not too many Jensen owners there, but anyway. Okay, thanks so much for those updates, Neil. There, I've got lots to think about myself. I'm sure everyone in the live chat and those listening and watching do as well. Just a reminder about that 7-day free trial, Fantasy Football Scout for the membership there, and over at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. Go onto the site there and have a look at that and look in detail at that. Do remember to press that like button and do remember to subscribe as well to keep up to date with all our videos. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow. Those that there on deadline 12:30 till 1:30 for a deadline stream. So I'll get all the latest whatever I can find, and also I'll try and find some tables and things like that, and I'll reveal my team and decisions and all of that fun stuff. Okay, Neil, thanks for your time. Take care. See you next week.
Bye bye.